Hi dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to Twin Talks Ballet, your place on the internet for thoughtful advice on how to flourish as a dancer. And what would the topic of flourishing be if I didn't provide ample amounts of audition advice? Of course, you know that many auditions this year are happening either over Zoom or video. So I'm grateful that a lot of you have requested my advice on how to do a Zoom audition or a video audition. Well, I know that Catherine Morgan has already made a fantastic video about this, which I absolutely would suggest. On top of this video, I did have the pleasure of watching it, and so I wanted to make sure to provide some unique tips that Catherine didn't already cover, or maybe she did and I just have things to add on it. So hopefully this video includes lots of valuable tips and insights for you on how to adjust the way you're performing in these video auditions or Zoom auditions, in addition to just some really practical advice for filming, setting up your camera and things like that, so that you can feel confident with what you're putting out there. So let's get into it. I've been teaching more classes over Zoom, and something I notice in my students is that when they get in the studio, we're in the studio together, socially distanced of course, with masks on. Cannot wait for that to be over, but glad we can dance together, you know? Anyway, when we're together in person, they fill the space a lot more with their port de bras. Their gaze might be a little bit more lifted, you know? You can tell not only when a dancer's eye line is pointing in a certain direction, but when it's really expansive. Versus when I see dancers at home dancing over Zoom or something, I notice that the energy of their dancing and kind of the expansiveness of it, the épaulement, like I said, the eye line, how kind of big and full they're making their movements, it shrinks a little bit to match the room without thinking, you know, subconsciously. Now that I've made you aware of what I've seen as a teacher, I highly advise that even if you get to rent a studio space, which is a great idea if you can manage it, no matter where you are over Zoom, you know, you will be dancing for a camera, an actual camera, or, you know, your computer, depending on if you're filming or doing the audition live over Zoom. It can be so easy to kind of also maybe fill the space more, but then to kind of keep your eye line down towards where the camera is or the computer. I want to tell you, keep your imagination going and dancing as if you are dancing for, you know, on a huge stage for 2,500 people, okay? So like you're really projecting with your eyes, you're really using a full sense of épaulement, you're really making every movement as big as it can be, so your movements are full. Exaggerate. I promise that will absolutely stand out. Hey dancers, I want to just briefly pause today's video to talk to you guys about a great opportunity that I have for you to really prepare yourself to excel in auditions. And not only that, to feel confident and proud of what you're putting out there, no matter the results of your auditions. And that is the Mindset Plus Movement Technique Accelerator program. This is a program I decided to create a couple months ago that uniquely mixes my expertise as a ballet teacher to help students find an approach to technique that allows them to create massive improvement in their turnout, their extensions, things like pirouettes, whatever your trouble steps are that keep you consistently frustrated. I am very passionate about using kinesiological principles to help you find a way to improve your technique in a way that works for your body, makes excellent technique possible. And I'm also so passionate about the fact that I believe good technique is efficient technique, and it might even feel easier for you and better on your body than your old approach. So I combine that approach with my expertise as a mindset coach to do mindset coaching with you during our private lessons together over Zoom, of course, to help you overcome the mental blocks, frustrations, limiting beliefs that consistently impact your ability to do things well, like pirouettes, adagios, whatever turnout, whatever it is that you feel locked up before you do it. You feel frustrated, or you're like, oh no, pirouettes, I'm terrible at those. That is a mental block, my friend. So I combine mindset work with technique work to help dancers drastically improve their technique in a short amount of time and to finally feel confident in their ability to dance well. There's nothing I love more than helping dancers fall in love with their own dancing and to feel free and joy and confidence, you know, while they're dancing. So if you're interested in this program, I'd highly recommend you click the link below to check out all the details that this program includes that I was not able to talk about here, and also apply for the program. I can only work with 4 dancers at a time. Spots are already filling up for January, which is a great time to do audition prep after the holidays. So Apply now, check out the details of the program. I can't wait to work with you. All right, let's get on with the rest of the video. What I want to talk about in this next tip is the importance of becoming aware of what is playing in your head when you are preparing to start your audition or start filming your video. Are you imagining other people watching your video and tearing it apart? Are you imagining yourself looking at the video and being displeased? Are you imagining that when you go on Zoom, the worst is going to happen, that you're just going to be forgotten on like the second or third page of Zoom participants? Capture that mental image, become aware of it. I promise you, we all have some sort of mental movie going on. A lot of mindset coaching clients that I'm working with to prepare their mindset for success in audition season, I'm helping them increase their confidence, understand their strengths as a dancer and how to market them, how to put themselves out there, let go a lot of the negative spirals of thought that just keep them small and frustrated and feeling stuck. It's so easy to just get in those negative thought spirals. As humans, we are designed to set expectations in order for us to predict what behaviors would be best to help us get our desired result. A lot of times our expectations are not things that we consciously control, and so our expectations could actually harm us in some way. For example, if we're just taking in subconsciously on Instagram that everyone is so talented because everyone you follow is like 12 and winning YGP or whatever, what you're telling your mind is subconsciously to set an expectation that you should be that. Of course, when you look at yourself, all you see is a failure. All you see is everything that's wrong, everything that about you that's not like those other dancers. When you are allowing your mind to go on autopilot and just come up with whatever imaginative sequence of like what will happen so that you can figure out how to cope with it or what to do about it, if we don't take those thoughts captive and become aware of what's happening, it is hard to get to that objectivity or even that positive mental state of, oh, you know, this actually can go well for me. So if you are imagining before you film that it's going to be garbage, chances are that will really impact the way you're actually dancing. You'll probably be much more likely to give up, get frustrated, get locked up, look very tense, and then it kind of serves as a self-fulfilling prophecy. What I would highly recommend to you is to just take a moment, imagine what it will be like for you to film an audition video or to attend your Zoom audition. Let whatever picture in your mind or feeling or whatever come up just as it is. Notice how it makes you feel. And then I would like you to imagine a new possibility that gets you excited to audition. You really imagine yourself at your best. You imagine yourself dancing in the studio and maybe having a close friend with you there to help you with the filming process, someone you trust. I want to encourage you to take charge of what expectation you're setting up for yourself and what visual comes along with that, because it can really positively, or if you don't control it, really negatively impact your experience and your performance. Auditioning is about standing out in a good way, not just measuring up. Of course, there are standards, and of course, technique is great. Technique is important, okay? As a ballet teacher and as a ballet dancer, I love working on the technique of it, and it does really matter because to me, the purpose of technique is that the stronger your technique, the more capability you have in your body to be free to make more artistic choices. You know, it's like you're an artist and you have more paints on your palette rather than just a couple. So you can make more intricate and beautiful and expressive art. You know, you could communicate what you're feeling or your ideas more effectively. So technique is important, and there are certain standards to quote unquote measure up to, so to speak. For example, if you want to audition for San Francisco Ballet Summer Program, and you know that based off of videos and pictures of the dancers there, that there is like a certain look they're going for, a certain level, skill level. So sure, you want to, let's say, measure up to that. But in order to be invited to those programs, you have to stand out from the rest in some way. And so by setting the intention to just measure up, to just be good enough, you are putting your brain on autopilot to do like damage control rather than using your creative capacity to actually figure out, okay, how do I want to express my individuality? What are my strengths? Like I've talked about in other audition videos, which I will link in the cards and below. Pretty sure I have a whole playlist on it. What are your strengths and how do you want to market that? How do you want to make artistic choices with your épaulement, your musicality, and things like that to actually stand out? Here's another practical tip on how to stand out. It is really important to just practically have a very clean, clear, professional looking background. So clear out as much as possible. Get good lighting if you can. If you're filming from home or participating from home, even from a studio, I can link below the link on Amazon to the studio lights that I have. I think they were $50. You could split it with a friend if that's helpful. It is really, really helpful to have good lighting and a clean background that's as simple as possible. And then Catherine Morgan also shared about this in her video, so I don't mean to echo her things too much, but it's just really good stuff. So choose a leotard color that is very different from the background so that you can stand out a little easier. I would recommend wearing a colored leotard if that is allowed. No matter what, I recommend simple, sophisticated looking leotards. Now, here's a tip that maybe it's unique. I definitely stand by it. I've said it in many different videos before. Recently, I shared it in the unique ways to get ahead in the ballet industry. I talked about dressing, maybe to mimic the style of older, more mature dancers whenever you can. Now, that means you can still keep it classic, you know, learn how to do a French twist in your hair, or maybe a low bun looks more sophisticated on you. I would just caution you to be mindful of your style. Just be aware, like, does it look very young, very student-like? Something I really did notice in my years as a student is that there would be some dancers who get into higher levels in summer programs who honestly have just about the same technical capability as one of the dancers in the lower level. They just look older. So it's something to consider and to play around with in your own style. Maybe do you have a leotard that still has very clean, beautiful lines, but maybe it's a little bit more, sophisticated. Maybe instead of like just a spaghetti strap leotard that looks very student-esque, like a uniform, maybe you have a nice like V-neck leotard, something like that. Those are just some basic tips I would recommend. Being a little bit more playful and thoughtful with your hair. Maybe with your makeup, I would recommend wearing makeup. Just please don't go to the extent of stage makeup by any means. I would recommend doing some test shots to make sure that your makeup really allows your facial features to be seen. Another way to stand out that I stand by this, I love it. It is really important to recognize that everyone's going to be super, super nervous. And I want you to think for a moment, what is the body language of nerves? It's looking around. It's small. It's, you're a little tense. You kind of shrink a little bit. What's the opposite of that? Calm, confident, you're having fun, you're at ease. Oh my gosh, that stands out so much in an audition, even in a video. Stand with that calm, confident, at ease body language. Also, practice in your classes now dancing with that same body language, that same facial expression. It is so attractive to watch. How you are feeling about your dancing is how you're projecting to other people that they should feel about your dancing. As we communicate in just conversations as people, we're constantly subconsciously picking up on each other's body language. You can tell if someone's insecure and you respond to them without thinking, you respond to them accordingly. Dancing is like exaggerated body language. We're still communicating with each other. So I stand by 100% the importance of training your body language to communicate confidence in your skill set for you. It can really impact how your dancing is received by the people watching you. Okay, another very practical filming tip. Don't do this to the extreme, it'll be really, really obvious, but I would highly recommend that, and probably all of you Instagram savvy dancers who are maybe a bit younger than me, man, I feel so old, oh my gosh, I feel like a grandma that I'm saying this, but a lot of you guys know that it's really flattering to have the camera at a lower angle looking up at you when you're taking a picture, for example. And of course, I'm not advocating for you to like put the camera you're filming with like on the floor or anything and just look up at you, because then your face will get lost and it will just be really odd and it will look unprofessional. So don't film that way. But what I would recommend is, instead of maybe having a camera on a tripod or a computer that maybe looks at your eye level down at you or straight at you, give yourself just a little bit of an angle, putting the camera down, maybe at hip height or something. Adjust this, do some test shots, and it does really create a flattering look without it looking unrealistic. If you have a camera that's just straight on or a little bit higher, your legs look shorter, you look a little wider. No one wants to look like that in an audition. You want to be looking your personal best and feel like the camera angle flatters you. So I would highly recommend putting that camera angle down a little bit. You can see an example of this in the technique tip videos I made. I'll link them in the cards and down below. Just again, do make sure that if you do your APOM that they can still see your face very well and it's not obvious that it's low. I do want to just echo what Catherine Morgan said, and I really think it was such a valuable point. Just to be prepared for the fact that schools and ballet companies this year, as we all know, are really suffering financially. There might be some summer programs where they're interested in, offering spots to more students because they can do that virtually. So maybe that will work out for some of you. But especially if you're auditioning for companies, I really don't want to say it's impossible to get a job. I'll say this. I'm working with a few dancers as a mindset coach who are considering leaving their companies or who do know dancers who are leaving their companies. So I will say there are spots that are opening, okay? I do know that it is happening. So don't get so defeated. It is possible to get a job during this weird time. It's really important to keep an open mind in this audition season. And if you do not get the results you desire, or there are worse results than last year, please, please, please do not take it personally as it meaning that you're a bad dancer. It is just a really strange time, as we all know, and it's important to be adaptable with it. Maybe your training will look different this year. Certainly the amount of dancers that companies and some schools can take will be different this year. Maybe the amount of applicants will be different. We don't know. We really don't know. Stay hopeful. Appreciate the experience of putting yourself out there for what it is. It's a growth opportunity. You're inviting, doors to be opened in your life for bigger and better things. So I hope you're really, really proud of yourself. I especially know that so many of you guys are training really hard for auditions while you're also feeling maybe a little less love for dance, maybe less motivation. And if that's you, I would recommend watching my video on how to regain motivation. I just posted, also linked. But yes, just prepare yourself to open your mind to whatever comes and to just decide within yourself, or maybe choose a few creative ways that you can continue to dance or adapt. Like say, if you don't get accepted into summer programs or that year-round program you're hoping, or the company, make some contingency plans and figure out some ways that you can make those exciting for you. I know it's so tempting to get really defeated and disappointed. That's normal and natural for a time. Don't take it personally if the results aren't exactly what you want this year. It's not so much a reflection of you, I'm sure. So dancers, I hope that you really enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, a thumbs up, a thumbs up, that's what I'm trying to say. And do send this to a friend if you think one of your ballet buddies would appreciate what I had to share in this video. And make sure to subscribe. I have so many other videos about so many other topics that can definitely be of use to you in your ballet journey. So yeah, peruse around, binge watch. I have like 300 and something videos, so seriously, go to town, please. I would love that. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.